Jem, do your spiel.
Okay. Right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Theatre Pitch podcast. I'm Jem. This is Joe.
Yeah.
And this is Sean.
I'm so glad you started that as I was getting like a gob full of water. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I
Hi,
did.
everyone.
I went to say Sean, and then I looked over and went, he is drowning in water, and I'll make it worse.
No, you
Thank
didn't.
you,
You just
everybody,
preferred Joe.
for joining us this podcast. This is the Theatre Pitch podcast, where each week we take a random online encyclopedia article and each of us come up with a pitch of how we turn that article into a stage production or a theatre production, and then at the end of the podcast we take those three ideas, we smush them together in true O50 style, and we come up with a fourth and final ultimate theatre pitch. And hopefully it'll be coherent. So far, so good, I think. But yes, this week, the article is called Life Entity. Now, it's not as spiritual as you'd think it is from just that title, and I'm going to hand over to Joe to explain what I mean by that comment.
Well, thank you, Jem. The Life Entity is a fictional creature, a physical embodiment of all life within the DC Comics universe. Long ago, starting all life from the planet Earth, it went on to create the 7 entities of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum, and was hidden in a dimensional tear within the Earth by the guardians of the universe, when they discovered its existence in order to preserve it from exploitation and possible harm. Publisher, DC Comics. First appearance, Blackest Night, issue 7. Creators, Joe Kelly, Jeff Johns, and Judd Winnick. Thanks, guys.
Joe's enjoying his segment this week. Yes, so Life Entity, it's part of the DC universe, and I thought I was a comic book lover. And
it's the DC universe. Well done, Jem.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm a massive comic book fan. But I'm mainly on the Marvel side, and I have to hand my comic book and superhero badge over this week because I read this whole article and understood the words individually, but put together in the sentences, I was not following a thing. So I'm pitching a play this week that I don't understand the Wikipedia page that it comes from.
I don't get what you don't understand, Gemma. It's quite simple to understand that some guys rocked up. They were like, yo, we're going to call ourselves the Guardians of the Universe now, and we're going to create the Life Entity, and then we're going to use that to power our basically green police force of the universe.
See, if the page had explained it that way, I might have followed. But the way it explains it, it's kind of like telling somebody from the 1st century that the world is round. It was a bit of a lot of information that I had to try and absorb in a short period of time, and then kind of go, well, I can't just put this on stage, can I? So, well, I could, but, so... Yeah.
So what are you going to do, Gemma? How about you go first?
Oh, great. Yeah, let's go first to get it out of the way.
Get into it.
One day.
Let's get nerdy. Let's get
nerdy.
Let's get all like, oh, Marvel. Oh, no. DC. Woo.
Oh,
Jeff
DC.
Johns, basically.
I'm going to completely disappoint you guys. So anybody who's listening to this podcast because you're like, oh, yeah, it's going to be DC, it's going to be comic books for the next, 2-3 minutes, you can zone out, because I just sort of went, I understand emotions, and that's mentioned in the history of this. So my understanding, and Joe and Sean are going to correct me if I'm wrong, is that the Life Entity is this creature that started all of life, but to protect it, or to protect us from it, something like that, it was split into a series of emotions called the... I can't find the words in the article. But anyway, to protect it from the forces of black, I'm guessing. I don't know. There's lots of
the
colours
Black
and there's
Lanterns.
lots of emotions. which is news to me. I'm definitely on Marvel's side of the comic book wars. I've been taken in by the evil empire. But anyway,
That's Star Wars.
yeah, yeah, Sean. I'm purposefully mishmashing. I'm trying to be funny. I should stop that.
I mean, we've been saying it for a while. I'm glad you're finally taking the note.
Oh, Joe, that's funny because it's so true.
That's my sense of humour. It's funny because it's true, and it's funny because it actually makes you want to cry.
Gemma, you've got this. Okay, stop putting yourself down.
All right, I think I've actually come up with a really good show. How it relates to Life Entity, I don't know.
Tell us.
But I quite like it because I read it and I was just like, all right, of the things that I can pull from it that aren't just a straight rip off from DC and gonna create a massive copyright and horror show legally, I was like, this whole idea of splitting one thing into multiple things in order to understand emotions and protect things sounds much like my solo show that I've just written that doesn't exist anymore because live theatre doesn't exist right now. But instead of pitching my solo show, I'm going to pitch a different version of it. So my pitch for Life Entity is it is a straight play, comedic, end-on theatre show that is a series of interviews kind of set up like, you know, those old TV game shows where they were dating game shows where one person's sat behind a screen and they're asking a series of questions to different candidates for whom they may go out with or whatever. So I'm thinking that kind of setup.
I love you clearly didn't like.
I clearly didn't understand.
I'm just reminded that like you sort of didn't like grow up that much here. When you just like anyone else would have just gone, you know that show that Cilla Black done. Everyone else will go, yeah, of course, I know that show.
Cilla Black did it. I've only ever seen sort of it in rip-offs in TV shows like that 70s show. So yeah,
Cilla Black. It was Cilla Black. Oh, imagine if it was.
Well,
yeah,
Cilla
Joe,
Black,
back me up.
The Forces of Black.
Sorry, I was just thrown off by the fact that I've never seen that 70s show.
You've never seen that 70s show?
No, because I grew up watching good TV.
Oh, fighting
like
against
Keenan
those
and Kel.
I'm going to tell you something now.
Sister, all the classics.
There's
I grew up watching Nickelodeon.
Joe, off topic, but there's an episode where The Rock plays his dad, and they go to watch wrestling, and they watch Rock.
It's fantastic.
Oh, Rocky Johnson.
Yeah.
Rocky Johnson, yeah.
And The Rock plays his dad, and they meet him.
That's pretty sweet.
There you go. You should just watch that one episode.
Hair, and the fact that The Rock has hair at all is just massively, massively amazing. But anyway, pulling us back on track. So kind of a series of interviews as done by superheroes who are interviewing to be part of a big group, the Guardians of the Universe. But these superheroes, they are the embodiment of the emotions that the Life Entity was split into. So they are the embodiment of willpower, fear, love, avarice, which is greed, rage, hope, and compassion. So there's 7 of them. And they are these superheroes are driven by those emotions, as well as their superpowers stem from those emotions. And it's an interview and a series of sort of comedic takes and speeches from all of these different people. And I'm kind of thinking there may be some cutscenes to, a break in the interview, so kind of everybody getting together in the green room and discussing something there, and having scenes there. But the whole twist of the show is that these are all these interviews. It's a whole metaphor for the idea that you need to understand all of your emotions and you need to know all of your emotions in order to truly function as a singular individual. And it's that unity of all of your emotions and your understandings of life that will help you negotiate your way through life. That's what the whole show is a metaphor for. But then the twist at the end of the show is that they're all interviewing for this Guardians of the Universe group, but then the people who are the interviewers think they're the ones in control, but actually the twist is that all of these individual people are actually just one person come together and that one person is the life entity, and I don't quite know how it ends, but that was the kind of twist that I thought. Mainly I was really interested in this idea of using superheroes as an entry point to discuss how coming to terms with all of your emotions is growing to love every bits of you, even the bad bits like greed and fear. The second you know those emotions, the second you become friends with those parts of you, is the second that you can better negotiate and navigate your way through life and what life and the world throws at you. So you are your own superhero. So that's the show that that's Life Entity for me.
You are your own superhero, Joe.
Yeah. Yes, Joe. Put your hands on your hips. Feel the massive gold J on your chest.
But I really feel like it's good that we've got things like your idea, Jem, considering what's coming with mine.
Yeah, you've gone very. I like it. At the start, it was reminding me of so like something like The Boys, like not the actual not the actual book itself, but like the idea that you have to interview and apply to be part of the Seven, which is basically the Avengers of that universe.
Yeah.
So I quite like that. I quite like that element because you never really see how did they decide that like Hawkeye was gonna be an Avenger. How did he get? You know what I mean?
Well,
I mean, like there probably is a book where like he's like, yeah, I'll be an Avenger now, but you never really see like the paperwork.
Yeah, well, I was looking at it, and when I had the idea of all of these superheroes embodying these emotions, I was like, oh, are they at like an anonymous group meeting, or are they all just sitting there over coffee? And then I was just like, no, a job interview is where you feel all of these different feelings, and that can dictate how well that goes. But yeah, I got really fascinated by the different colours and the different feelings, and that is pretty much the only understanding I got from it. My mind was blown that that Green Lantern Corps isn't just a dude. Green Lantern Corps is a corps, and I didn't know anything about the forces of the Black, which, yep. I did, at the beginning of the week when we saw this, I was like, oh, I'll go and do a load of research, but then I was like, nah, man, it's about the online encyclopedia page, so I'll stick with just that, and I've regretted it.
That's such a Joe attitude.
No, I did. I was just like, it's the whole point of the podcast is to stick with the article, not go and, watch all of these different things and use it as an excuse to just completely binge on Netflix. Yeah.
So I think with your idea, you could sort of like take the standard architects of archetypes of like different superheroes, and you actually like take them apart using each emotion.
Yeah.
So like obviously like you could like take a Batman and like have him represent like fear, and then play around with that. I'm trying to think of other superheroes.
I was like, oh, you could take the route of that they're all new superheroes and they're self-aware of other superheroes, or they could be superheroes that we already know, depending on the budget that we have to be able to pay Disney and Marvel and DC and everybody for the rights to use those characters and likenesses. But yeah, I mean that was it was an examination of how you have to take everything in life equally and love it in order to navigate it best, told through the medium of a superhero job interview.
I'd like to see that film now, of just like a superhero job interview.
Yeah, same. I think it works better as a film than a theatre show.
I'm trying to think of like, who would be like a really good person who would like really impress. You know when you know that person's like really good at interviewing, but they're like crap at their job.
I mean, surely the one who... It's crossing over into Marvel canon, but the one who'd be good at the job interview is Doctor Strange. Because he can see all the possible versions where he screws up the interview.
He can see into their minds.
Yeah, he can keep repeating it over and over again till he gets it right.
Dormammu, I'm here for the job.
He realizes that there is, in all the billions of possibilities, there's one universe where he succeeds at the job interview. He won't let you know if it's this one.
And no, he won't. But Tony Stark is inherent to the plan. Okay, so right, let's inspire people to get really into this side of the DC universe. Because that was my pitch, and I imagine you two understood the article a lot better. I know for sure Sean knows.
I really want Joe to go next, because I've got a feeling his is gonna be like, defund the Green Lantern Corps. I can see it coming.
I mean, it is true that all lanterns are bastards. That's my theory.
Okay.
I don't separate based on kind of. I think all corps are equally awful, but no, that is not my idea.
Well, let's go with Joe's idea before the tension kills us.
So,
brace yourselves, everybody.
For me to explain my idea, I feel I need to first ask: are either of you aware of the theory of eternal recurrence?
For us and for the listeners, very briefly.
Yeah. I mean, of course I do.
Yeah,
but for
obviously,
the listeners, you should explain.
I'll explain it on the off chance you don't at home. So there is this notion. It started within kind of Indian philosophy and within ancient Egyptian beliefs that it's echoed through the part in the recent series True Detective. Not that recent now, but still, where Matthew McConaughey utters that time is a flat circle. It's basically this notion that everything that has happened will happen again and has already happened because time is just in a repeating loop. And I'm taking this because my play is a two-hander involving one character simultaneously taking place on the first and last nights of Earth. And so I've thought about this. I really quite like what my idea is. It's a stage that at the beginning of it, the left-hand side of it is completely washed in white. And that is it. And a person walks out just completely dressed in white. And then the other side of the stage is completely in black and has a series of LED lights at the back of the stage that slowly go out as the night is coming to an end, as the lights start to rise up on the other side of the stage, and it moves from black to white on the other side as basically the first night is beginning on the one side of the stage and the last night is ending on the other. And essentially it also plays into, because my notions with this is the life entity as established within it is, he is a universal constant. He is a being that has created all things and should there theoretically have been there before them and will be there after them. And I think it was... I've had to collect a lot of these quotes because these are how I'm interpreting this. This is based on Dostoevsky. One time said, the mystery of existence lies not just in staying alive, but in finding something to live for. And my notion is that it's the last night of one cycle of Earth and the first night of another one. And the life entity is trying to remember why he lives, why he created existence in the first place, in order to inspire the next cycle to exist. And it's all about questioning why live, why exist, why anything. And essentially, it's the moral is someone trying to convince themselves in order to do their job. And I haven't worked out how he's going to do that yet. But mostly I've been thinking about kind of like the 70s kind of surrealist British filmmakers like Derek Jarman, who got his start in making very surreal theatre pieces. And I want to kind of construct this play that's basically this kind of strange, elegiac, like kind of surrealist set piece involving, hopefully, in my head, I'd hire identical twins to play the life entity.
Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Yep,
Olsen.
that'll work.
I was going to say Jedward.
No.
That would also work. I reckon
work.
it could happen. I mean, they're Irish. Samuel Beckett was Irish. This is existentialist.
Yeah, this is a very Beckett feel.
And yeah, that is essentially it. It's a play that makes no references to the DC universe whatsoever, and is essentially about what is the meaning of existence. And it's an hour long, and it tries to solve the meaning of life in that time. Any questions?
42. Are there any Douglas Adams references in it?
No, because that would
Okay.
be cheap.
That would be cheap, but it would satisfy.
He
a handful
says,
of
just
people.
having heard you make one. And also, when have I ever done anything to satisfy people?
True. Wow. Okay. It's an existential crisis in a play.
Yeah.
Very Beckett.
And also, it does involve having a stage setup that requires people to not realise that the entire actual stage setup is projected on it, so that as the one side of the stage gets darker, the other side gets lighter, and in reverse.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but you can do that. You could do that easy.
Yeah.
You could do that.
Oh, I know we could, but also,
I like the way.
how impressed are you that I've actually thought about staging for once?
I'm very impressed.
And it doesnn involve scaffolding.
It
Oh, you know that metal scaffolding is involved. That's where the audience is sat.
We're turning the tables.
I'd watch that. I'd definitely watch
and I think I'd enjoy that. I'd watch that, and I think we could pitch that to the National Theatre. And I also, just on a negative note, don't appreciate the fact that after my mind was somewhat bent by the original article, you came in and explained what was it? The theory of
Eternal
Breakjam?
recurrence, yeah.
Eternal recurrence.
Yeah, if you want to find out more about that, Nietzsche. Just look at anything Nietzsche does. He brings it up occasionally.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
if you want to get all back to you loving Marvel Comics, it's Ragnarok. There you go.
Yeah. I actually really like that.
We might have to edit all of that out, Joe, because we might actually just want to do that as a show. So we might want to let it out there for free.
Yeah.
So if we just skip over Joe this week, that means he's done really well.
It's fine if we just make sure that in time for us to release this, we take the time to copyright this idea.
We'll just write it down, and there you go. Write it down and email it to each other, and it's got copyright, because that's how the law works. It's brilliant.
Yep.
I really like it, and I think anybody who's listening who would want to see that show, drop us a comment, drop us a like, and we'll do it for you. I'm here to satisfy people in a theatrical way. Joe's the one who's not trying to do any of that. But
I'll make the poster.
And if you don't want to see it, I'll get writing it right now.
Yeah. So I'm going to say, Joe, I really, really don't want to see this show.
Okay, fine. I'll get Final Draft running.
Woo!
Sorry, I will get professional script writing software running.
Woo! And whilst you do that, Sean, over to you, the man who understands this article to the point where I don't think you even read it, because why would you? You knew it already.
Well, I haven't read Blackest Night since university, but it is it's really good, and obviously it's the book that brought Aquaman back from the dead, so obviously I'm really happy about that. Anyway, I've just realised, of all the weeks, I could have wore like a Green Lantern t-shirt, and I've just completely forgot today that we were doing this.
I'm also like, in every photo that we've ever had for our company in its existence, you're always wearing that Aquaman t-shirt, and the one time it's relevant, you're not.
Oh well, what can you do?
Got to play with expectations like that.
So
right.
I was thinking. I done what I normally done. I thought of one thing, settled on it, and then was like, nah. So I was gonna do like, because the Green Lanterns, all of their powers are very like light based. It's like, oh, it's very bright. So I was thinking I could do like a Robert Wilson, Philip Glass 6-hour opera.
Wow.
Yeah. But then I thought, we are never ever gonna get like a comic book related thing on this show again. So I should literally just do the show that I would want to watch.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's a top tip for anybody making anything. Stop what you're doing and just turn it into something you really want to see.
I mean, that's what I just did.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be like, and I know this has already sort of been done for comic books, but I don't care. I'm doing it with the Blackest Night. I'm doing it with the Green Lanterns. Massive, spectacular arena show.
Yeah.
Now it's been done twice, and it's sort of been done 3 times, but the third one was like a sequel to the first one, so just count it as one. So it's been done. I brought props. It's been done with Batman.
Right.
It was about 2011, so it was like at the height of like the Dark Knight trilogy. Brilliant, by the way, worth it. And it's been done with the Marvel Universe Live.
Okay.
That crappy program. Batman
Oh,
one.
these just for anybody who's
These
not
are real.
who's listening, who's not watching. Sean's holding up a series of books. Are these the programs for this?
These are the programs from the shows. Yeah.
Oh
Look at
wow,
that.
that's really high quality, nice program.
It's not just that. You see that's like that was the set. The set was like a big It's
The front cover is a cut out picture of the Batman sign, just to make it for the ear people too. Yeah.
well, it's yeah.
Yeah.
Well done, Jem. The reason why I'm on about that is because one was brilliant and one was not.
Okay.
And it weren't because it was like, I mean, these sort of shows, they're basically cash cows. Because the Batman one happened at like the height of Batman. And the Marvel Universe one happened just like, I think it was about when Avengers 2 came out. So it was like, they were like, let's get that money.
Yeah.
The Batman one is brilliant because the way they staged it, the limitations of theatre, you can only suspend your disbelief so far. Mm-hmm. But they really knew, like, with the Batman character, we can still do the, like, gliding in. We can still make the Batmobile. They used his villains that were grounded, so they used, like, Penguin, the Joker, Two-Face, Catwoman. So they used all of them. But they still, like, they used what theatre techniques they could use. So, like, ropes. They used big sets. They used miniatures of buildings. So, like, Batman was jumping from building to building. And it all led up to, like, Batman going to Arkham to fight the Joker and the rest. And it ends with, like, all of the villains coming out. Like, the set opens. The villains, like, walk out. And the Joker comes out on, like, a balloon. So
wow.
And that was on like a crane. So they really just sort of like realised like what key things do we need for a Batman thing. So we need like Joker doing something evil with his like face on it. Batman like jumping across. You had the Batmobile. So I had all of that. It was brilliant. And it was like, yeah.
Also, at one point in this show, Catwoman whips a gun out of someone's hand and says, "What's that? Cat got your gun?"
I don't remember that bit.
10 out of 10 line.
My big issue with I'll explain why I'm saying all of this in a bit. My big issue with the Marvel one is because it was so obviously a cash cow. It was basically, all these characters are really popular now, so we're just going to do a generic show with them in. So you had like, I'm not going to go through every single character, but if we just take Captain America and Iron Man, like, at no point did they do like what I would say is iconic for them characters. And by them, and I mean two things that in every single film they've done this multiple times, and it's always been a thing. Iron Man leaving his costume, leaving the Iron Man suit, or entering the Iron Man suit. Every single film, it's been a thing. Iron Man 3 was basically him just going into different suits. Yeah.
and it was completely fine being that.
Yeah, yeah. His entrance in Avengers, the first Avengers film, is him like, yeah, I'm leaving the suit now differently. So like that wasn't there. And to be fair to him, I wouldn't know how you do that in a theatre thing to make it like seem really cool.
I really now need to write something where this happens so that we can challenge Sean.
And Captain America, so every time Captain America was on, you'd think Captain America, what's the most iconic thing about Captain America?
His shield.
Throwing the shield, yeah.
Yeah.
Punching Nazis, yeah.
Well, he done that, to be fair, he done that. But every time Captain America was on, he never threw the shield. Again, I wouldn't know how you do it. I mean, it'd be something like with ropes. But he never done that. Every single Captain America thing was like, oh, he rode a bike in a couple of films, so we're basically just going to do loads of bike flips. Yep, so that's what it was.
But you can easily do the throwing the shield with the same like techniques they used to throw paper planes over the audience in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, but you got to do it quick and it's got to come straight back to you, ain't it?
Yeah, but that's next level.
Anyway,
Okay.
they didn't. That was never his thing. So like they're doing it and the character's there, but you're not doing the character. So like, I mean like yeah, the place was full of kids. I knew what the audience was and they were loving it. Like they were like oh, but it just didn't like I was going in expecting something and then you didn't. You just give me like oh yeah, he's got the mask, but it's not the thing. So
Yeah.
I think when you're doing a theatre piece with this sort of IP, you can't just like pick a character. You have to think like what can I do with this character? What can I do? And like the audience will like believe it. So we're going on. So I'm saying that we're going on to like the Life Entity. So the Life Entity came in Blackest Night, and it's basically all based around like the Green Lanterns, the Yellow Lanterns. I genuinely think you could do an awesome show showcasing the Green Lantern powers.
Okay.
All about everything they do. It's lit up in their colours.
Ooh.
You just have to have so when you go into this, when you're directing, when you're writing, you have to have a lighting engineer with you, because you have to realise like what can you do. So like as a kid, I grew up like Joe might know this. Every year there was this thing called the Warsaw Lights, and you basically just went to a park in Warsaw, and they had just like it was like Blackpool Illuminations, but it was just in the Warsaw Park, and they'd have like lasers on the lake. Right, this was like 20 years ago, and they were doing pretty impressive stuff. So the stuff they can do now must be amazing.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, can you do things where like you've got lasers coming out, boom, boom, boom. So when they're fighting, can you? I'm sure you can do a thing where it looks like you're encased in lasers. So you could do that as like you can have a moment where like Green Lanterns are trying to protect themselves.
Yeah.
So that's the key thing. I want a lighting engineer there. So every time you're doing set pieces, you can say, oh, can we do X? Can we create X image or X power using lighting, using LED lightings? And you're like, yeah, of course we can do that. And because it's LED lighting, whatever sort of movement you want to do, you can sort of recreate that in another scene with a different lantern. Because it's LED lighting, you can just change the colour quite easily. So you can boom, boom, boom. So that's sort of like the main aspect of this. You need a lighting engineer there. We're going to do loads of action.
Yeah.
So you go in, big arena. You know, people on three sides. You've got like the bit in the middle and the stage. Stage is black with a circle, big circle, cut out. That's going to be like a massive TV screen. And around that is an outline of the classic Green Lantern outline in LED lights. Because I want that to change from white to, depending on what character moment we're doing, I want that to change between the things. And the big circle in the middle is because each of the lanterns have their own logo. So I really want to like really like put that there. Like, it's a Green Lantern, it's a Red Lantern thing. There's the Red Lantern logo. There's the red outline. So it's like massive. We're really gonna sell some T-shirts. We're gonna push that logo.
Yeah.
This is the longest pitch I've ever done. I've just realised, and I'm not even done yet.
I'm enthralled.
Just
keep going.
And the reason why it's a big circle as well, it also doubles up as when we jump through planets later on in the plot, we can easily show the planet. So you know when you do movies and you jump to Lisbon and it's like the city and then Lisbon.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that, but with planets there.
Okay.
So that's the set. Really, it's all plain apart from that thing. And then there's just lights everywhere because it's just going to be like, oh, I'm a Green Lantern, boom. Oh, I'm a Red Lantern, fire, like boom, boom. So that's that. And we're going to do a rough version of Blackest Night. So the whole story is that the life entity is the general MacGuffin of the whole show. So we're going to open up. You're ready to get nerdy now. We're going to open up.
Now.
Now we're getting nerdy.
Now we're getting
nerdy.
Have you ever seen the Power Rangers movie?
Which one?
The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie.
Aren't you proud of me, Sean?
You've seen it. So you know it opens.
I haven't seen it since I was like 10 though. So.
Yeah, but you know it opens randomly with them like doing skydiving and then rollerblading. Like basically,
once again, I'll take your word for it.
Just chilling out. So that's how we're gonna start. We're just gonna start doing some weird, we're just enjoying ourselves with Hal Jordan, with John Stewart, and I forgot.
Kyle Rayner?
No. Oh yeah, Kyle. Yeah, we'll put Kyle there. I like Kyle. Kyle Rayner and Carol.
Oh, what's his name? Ginger lad.
No, we don't want Guy Gardner. We don't want Guy. I don't want him in it.
Oh, you don't want Guy?
No.
It's like a pub quiz.
Carol. Is it Carol? Green Lantern's basically girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, her. Because Gemma, she is one of the Star Sapphires. Oh no. Sorry. In my plot, she's not there yet. Carol Ferris. In my plot, I've just completely remembered my plot. She's not there yet.
Okay.
It's just them three being lads.
All right.
So it happens. They're doing that, and then as they're just chilling, the Black Lanterns come. They start fighting, and they're like, "Oh, we can't win. We're getting done. The Green Lanterns are getting done." Carol comes in because she's like, "Oh, hey, I want to hang out too. I thought we're friends." She comes in, helps out because she's a Star Sapphire, and then they start to win, and then they realise if we do two separate powers, then they affect the Black Lanterns because that's how they actually work in the comics. None of the colours can work on their own. It's when they work together, Gem, can they defeat the Black Lanterns.
Like togetherness.
If you had read it, you would have went, they need to work as a team. So that happens. They leave Kyle on Earth to look after it.
Yeah.
Yep. They go off to Oa, which is the Green Lantern planet. They basically say to the Guardians of the Universe, this is the crack. And then they say, they're going to Earth because they want the life entity. If you want to defeat them, you need to get members of all the Lanterns to have a big standoff. That's the plot, yeah? So then they split up. That's when you can have Guy Gardner in it. Guy Gardner can go, I'm on Oa too. And then they can be like, yeah, you go back now. So then they split up. So, no, this is where we can get a cool bit with lights. Because I'm thinking we could have a bit where they're like, to get to the Yellow Lanterns, you're going to need Sinestro. And we can say, Sinestro is imprisoned on Oa. And you can have a bit where it comes out and it's like glowing green bars. So we could have LED batons, and there's Sinestro there. So he's like, yeah, I'll help you, Hal Jordan. And then they have a little bit of banter because they're arch enemies, but then they were also mentors, and that's that. So then John and Carol go off, and Hal Jordan and Sinestro go off, and it's basically they go and collect members of the other Lanterns. So when you get to Indigo and Blue,
Yeah.
It can be just like character moments, or it can be like other Black Lanterns have caught up with them and they have fights. But when you've
Yeah.
when you go up, so when you go to the Yellow Lanterns, Sinestro and Hal Jordan have to have a big fight to get a Yellow Lantern ring. They go to the Red Lanterns, and at first, like, because the Red Lanterns hate the Green Lanterns, you have a big kerfuffle. But then they realise like they need to work together. I don't know how you do the cat. I don't know that. I'm not going to tell you what. I'm not going to tell you what that means. But if you just Google Red Lanterns, you'll know. You'll know. But I don't know how I'll do that though yet.
If anybody's listening who understands what Sean's talking about right now,
Jem, stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me, Jem. I'm not even halfway yet. So then you have them moments, and then you could have like when you get to you want to get the Orange Lantern, instead of having a fight, you could have a chase scene, because the Orange Lantern, as you said, it's greed, and there is only one Orange Lantern because he wants to have all the power to himself. So you could have like a chase moment where he's like, "You're not getting it," and they're like, "We don't really want the
Yeah.
So that happens. Then they all come together. They're like, "Woo, we've got the power." They go back to Earth. They start fighting with the Black Lanterns. This could be a cool bit where they come back to Earth. Kyle's like on the floor, like defeated, like dead. I'm gonna go for it. Dead. And then they get there, and then like the Black Lanterns have made some of Earth Heroes Black Lanterns. So then you could fight like a Black Lantern version of like Green Arrow or Aquaman, and you can have them cool moments. But they all get defeated apart from Hal Jordan.
No.
Hal Jordan, they all die.
No.
They all die. Gemma, they all die. Even the cat, if I can figure out how to do him. But at the very end, Hal Jordan like reaches and he managed to get the White Lantern power, and then they all have like a really bright moment, and all of our heroes come back, and they're all in white versions of their costumes, and then they defeat. Yeah, I know. How everyone likes a
my goodness, yeah.
And then
Are you saying you're gonna Gandalf the entire cast?
I'm gonna, because that's. I'm sorry, but that's what the White Lanterns do. Yeah, they're all gonna come back as like, it's White Sinestro, it's White Lantern, other characters. They come back and then they defeat the Black Lantern ring. Boom, done. And because this is DC Comics, all this production takes place in an alternate universe where the Green Lantern film was actually a success. Because let's be honest, who's going to go and watch a Green Lantern production show in our universe? No one. So basically, in the universe where this is happening, Ryan Reynolds is still Green Lantern, and they've basically made the DCEU off that film.
Out of interest, in this universe, just to ask the obvious questions, is Ryan Reynolds also Deadpool? Also, Taika Waititi, did he go on to make Thor Ragnarok despite being the best friend in it? Also, does Mark Strong go on to be the villains in Captain Marvel and Shazam, wasn't it?
No, you've got yourself mixed up there, where he was just the villain in Shazam. But obviously, as we have discussed, not on this podcast, but earlier, Shazam did used to be called Captain Marvel. So I can see your.
Oh wait, no, I was also getting Jude Law and Mark Strong mixed up in my head somehow.
I mean, lots of people do.
Okay, all right, fantastic.
Yeah, Gemma. So that's mine. It's a big arena show of Black Lantern. Blackest Night. And if it's a success, we could do like a spin-off called Brightest Day. I'm just gonna do the book.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of questions, right? Because
we can
when you started off on this, I kind of abandoned the whole, you're a host of a podcast brain, and my producer brain kicked in because I really like the idea. And so I've got some, I just started taking producer notes rather than host notes. So good luck to my summary later. Okay, so Just a note and a thought on the whole light thing, because I love it being a light show. You've got the interactive projection art and technology.
Got it. It's
like
got.
that.
I think with this character, even though he flies, which you can do with wires, he makes constructs, and it's all. But because it's all like light based, I think you could give it a good crack in theatre. You only have to go so far, and if you're doing a good job of the story, and if you're committed, the audience will go along with you.
Yeah,
It's entirely
true.
And that's why I mentioned the Marvel show, because I weren't with it. So when it came on with certain characters, when they tried to do Doc Ock, I was like, not having it.
But I mean, the key to that is absolute simplicity as well, and being really clever and being really elegant with it, and its execution, and always serving the plot, always serving a really solid structure of a story.
I just thought as well, you could do a really cool thing once you get to the Indigo, the purple guys. You could do a cool thing with like ultraviolet light.
Oh, that could be really cool. Also, merch, just, ultraviolet t-shirts and
you
the
got
togetherness
it. Sell them logo t-shirts.
The logo t-shirts, the merch. My head went into graphic design mode as well. So question with the performance. So, are you imagining? Because I haven't seen these arena shows. Are you imagining straight acting scenes or like physical theatre acrobatics and the stage, like the stage wrestling? Because I know I've seen a couple of shows where they've been superheroes.
It's a bit of both. It's a bit of both, because you are going to have like bits where like they go into Oa and they're like, yo, there's these Black Lantern people. They're killing Earth, and like those the Guardians of Oa could like rise from the stage, and because I mean you probably haven't seen pictures of them, but they're basically little troll guys. So you could do puppetry there, and they can be like, yo, Hal Jordan, go. So I mean, like, it will be like acting, but I can just see it being like the people that they're stunt performers, they're not actors.
Yeah.
So they're just doing the actions where it's just like dubbed in.
Yeah, like that. We saw a show a few years ago on the Fringe, and I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was that where essentially all of the performers they wrestle for a living, and so they're wrestlers and stuntmen and stuntwomen.
You're on about the wrestling, aren't you?
Yeah, but they were all superheroes, and it was like going through it. It was at the Fringe about 2016, and it was a proper comic book story, but they were doing wrestling, and it was wrestling between superheroes. It was just fantastic. I genuinely enjoyed it. But it's because they were doing right in front of you. They were doing the stunts that otherwise usually you'd only see in movies, but sort of with cuts and splits so that you don't realise that it's not actually Chris Hemsworth doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, you'll have that, but obviously because it's an arena show, will be a bit more of a distance, so you won't have to be as like clean as like a wrestler would be.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's the longest pitch I think I will ever do, unless we get like Liverpool one day. Also, and then we're just gonna end the nerdy stuff because if we do get like, if the 10 people that watch this podcast get like start arguing in the comments about Marvel DC, you can like both.
Yes.
One is a comic book about superheroes, and the other is a comic book about superheroes. If you like one, the odds are you'll like the other.
Agreed.
But
there
DC is better.
Marvel's better. All right. Okay.
DC Comics, Marvel films. There we go. Sorted.
There we go.
Agreed.
There we go.
There you go. Joe's the one who oddly is playing the mediator. All right. Okay.
Sitting there quiet, and then he just comes in with the knowledge.
I've got to be honest. I'm going to propose a very radical situation here, which is, honestly, I feel like it would be an injustice to actually try and smush these together. So I think we kind of just let all three of these exist.
Yeah.
In alternate universes, because it's comic books.
Yeah.
Also, did you say Injustice on Purpose?
I
Because
didn't.
that
but-
is also a DC comic we may do at some point.
And for anyone who didn't quite get what Sean was on about with the cat thing, just Injustice Gods Among Us 2, look at Atrocitus. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Carry on, and I'll find a cat for you.
Alright, okay. So, I kind of agree with Joe, but then I am also sitting here going, but
I don't know how that shows up. This is literally the second page of the Red Lanterns comic book. They finally got their own comic. This is literally the second page.
Dexter!
That's
cat.
a cat.
Yeah.
That's a cat wearing a suit, and he's angry and cool looking.
No, it's Rage.
Ooh. So it's rage, it's not just angry. It's one step above at rage.
Yeah.
Okay, I totally agree with you, Joe, that ultimately I think that these shows are all better off individual. But I think what we should be doing now is squishing them together to pitch a show that we will never ever do because it's an abomination. But in order to go for, and stay true with whatever always. Let me start that sentence again. We need to stay true to something that always happens to superhero films and superhero canons and things that we love, which is one day a creator will come forth with an interpretation of something you love and destroy it and create an abomination. So what we're going to do is we're going to agree that our three pitches are
we
actually the better
talking
ones.
about the Green Lantern film now?
I mean, I'm pretty sure Jem's just on about the notion of me having to accept that both of you guys had pitched ideas about the power of togetherness.
Yeah.
And me having to accept some kind of cloying happy ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to come together and ruin all of our ideas to make a very alright one idea. Okay, Joe.
Yeah.
That is
Are you
democracy.
ready?
That is what compromise is. No one's happy. We're just equally sad.
Yes. So, equally sad. I think arena show that follows the plot line of the Green Lantern, aka everything Sean just ranted
Blackest
about.
Night.
That's the
It's
plot
called
line,
the Blackest Night.
I told you that my notes had turned to producer's notes and not host notes. But I think it's the plot line of that interspersed with, I think maybe the framing narrative is that it's these people. The framing narrative's got to either be Joe's idea or my idea. I got it.
I've got to be honest, I don't think there's any way my idea plays in any way in an arena setting.
I do.
I
do.
think it could. I think it could.
And I think I know exactly how to do it in a way that is very, very Joe. So,
I mean, you go ahead, Jem, because all I was going to do, I was going to say is that we could just rip off the Ragnarok, that comic where it just it's a cycle, it always happens. But yeah you go, Jem.
Yeah, pretty much. So my thought was it's the arena show and everything that Sean said, that's the main plot, but it's framed by you open with the job interview of or an interview structure from all of these different people, and it's like they're recounting the tales of what they've just been through, and it's from all of their different perspectives. So you're creating that framed narrative there. And then it's Sean's idea as the primary plot that gets you from A to B in an arena show. But then at the end, you find out that the person who is interviewing everybody is actually the life entity, because he's trying to listen to these people to try and figure out why he needs to exist, and whether he presses the reset button to make them all do it again, or whether he just hits the blackout button. And then we could do a big theatre thing where you sit there and you go and you just hit the blackout button and it's just a blackout, or you hit the reset button and it's a blackout and then another little light through the hole. So essentially I've taken Sean's idea and I've made it more theatre wankery.
Okay, Sean.
That's what you always do.
I was going to say as well, I've just had one thought, which is, you know how, as you've said, with these big theatre shows, they always pitch it as kind of being They never do just one villain. They will always do kind of a mashup of it being lots of them teaming up.
Yeah.
So that, like, the Batman one, as you say, it was the Joker, it had
He went to Arkham and got all the other guys.
Yeah. Is there any way we can just decide, say, screw it, and do that mashup and involve the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor in this stage of production?
Yeah, of course you can. I'm pretty sure they do turn up in Blackest Night anyway. But you could have the Anti-Monitor and the Monitor. They could become Black Lanterns. So you could have like the Black Lantern version of their costume.
Just for people at home, Sean, please explain the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor as quickly as you can.
So the Monitor is a guy who wants to save the universe, but he does it in the like most awkward way, and he's trying to save it from the Anti-Monitor, which is basically the bad version of him. So, but Anti-Monitor only exists because of the Monitor, and the Monitor is only trying to stop the Anti-Monitor because yeah,
cool.
I think so. It's. I think you just sort of accept that the Anti-Monitor is a good guy, and the Monitor is see. It's a bit weird.
That's essentially
Comic books, guys.
These are two sides of the same coin, in which there is no real definable way of explaining why the Monitor is the good one, the Anti-Monitor is the bad one, beyond it is assumed that the Monitor is pro-existence and the Anti-Monitor is against it.
There's always a point in comic books where you're just like, just accept it and move on. Just accept and move on. It's the only way you'll enjoy it. Okay, fantastic. Do we have any other way to smush these ideas together other than take Sean's idea and make it more theatre obnoxious?
Well,
Awkward silence because you all know that I've come up with an amazing show.
I just think Sean was in his element then.
Yeah, I know.
This is the longest podcast we have ever done.
Yeah. Imagine how short this would have been if I just gone, we'll do a Robert Wilson show.
We'll just do a 6-hour opera. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, I've got to be honest.
Show.
I have been spending this entire time thinking, how could you do a 6-hour superhero opera, but with the musical stylings of Philip Glass?
I think you could.
And I think it sounds incredible.
Yeah,
but
you would have to have an agree. If we were going to do Green Lantern, if I was going to do a Philip Glass, I'd have I'd get an agreement with Marvel, so I could do like a little nod to the Dazzler. Because if I'm going to do like a big musical with like loads of lights, I've got to at least like reference.
Though to be fair, also if we're doing a musical based in the DC universe, we have to acknowledge that one already exists, and it's fantastic, and it's called the Batman Brave and the Bold episode, The Return of the Music Meister.
What about the Supergirl episode?
Oh yeah, and that, yeah.
Okay, right. I'm going to draw a line under this. Usually we go through the plot.
I like the Buffy musical episode as well.
I love the Buffy music episode. Oh my goodness.
But you know what had a terrible musical episode? Community.
Oh, I like
Always
that
Sunny
one.
in Philadelphia's...
What, the Puppet episode? No.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia's musical episode is really great as well.
I thought you was just about to say it's not. I was getting ready to like drive down to London to give you a slap in the face.
I have never laughed so hard than
Dayman is the greatest musical ever written.
It's called The Nightman Cometh.
Oh,
yes.
Joe. Oh,
dude.
Oh, I'm going to cut that bit out.
Oh. Okay, take two. All Sean,
right.
go.
All right, wait. No. We're bringing it back. We're taking it back. We're not talking about musicals because then we're going to be pitching another thing. Usually we go through the plot, the style, the staging, the set, the cast, and other needs. But I think we've pretty much covered that because Sean went into so much detail about everything there, and the other needs just being lots and lots of merch and
Basically,
lots of light bulbs.
as many Green Lantern characters as we can get, apart from Guy Gardner.
Yeah. Basically, I'm just quite happy for us to do Sean's idea because it means that I get to keep mine to actually use.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to turn my idea into like a movie or a series of sketches or something filmed based because I think it works better as a filmed based thing, and I think that that's also part of making theatre is also realizing this ain't the right medium for that idea.
And I will just sit here knowing that the show that I've just described and would really like to watch will never happen because everyone thinks Green Lantern's a joke now.
Oh no!
So let's end the podcast.
Sean, have belief. People thought Aquaman was a joke for a long time, and then his film ended up being pretty good.
Yeah, and Sean, all you gotta do, Sean, you know how you gotta do to get to get your idea on the road and to get it up is you've just gotta believe in togetherness and you just gotta bring people together.
Fuck off.
to love the Green Lanterns.
Right, should we end the podcast?
That's it. I'm quitting this week.
All right.
Last week.
On that note, let's end the podcast. So thank you. Well done, everybody, for listening, for getting this far. I've absolutely adored it. This has been the Sean Brady Show. I have been Jem.
That's what we pitched the podcast as, weren't it?
And Sean, you're choosing...
I'm just getting it now.
You're getting it now, so I'm going to hand over to you.
So guys, if you thought my idea was great, let us know in the comments below. Do the like, share, subscribe. We're on all of the podcast things now because I remembered to press the button. I was on there and I was like, why aren't we on all the other stuff? And I was like, oh, I just have to press that and it does it all. You'd think it done it automatically, but it didn't. Anyway, if you want to follow me on Instagram and see like pictures of comic books and pop vinyls, it's still Shawnee B. If you want to go and follow Joe, he's above me. You can do that
at NOTJOERACZKA. That's not Joe Ronchka.
Yep, it's worth the follow. And if you want to take an interest in Jem's life,
you can find me at OFITD_Jem with a gem with a J because I'm different.
Yes, yep.
Yes.
She is. Okay. Right, it's another intellectual property, sort of.
Okay. If it's another Marvel thing, then I'm officially taking the random battle away from you guys.
Next week we will be doing pitches for.
Oh no.
Edward Cullen.
What?
Shiny boy.
Oh,
So it links to this week because he's going to be the future Batman, and in Blackest Night, obviously, Batman is dead.
Yeah.
So.
and so this week has been the Sean Brady Show, and next week will be 16-year-old Jem Show. Because I absolutely adored Twilight at the height of its fashion.
There you go, Gemma. Use that,
Gemma. I genuinely love mythology and vampire mythology, so that's what I'm going to be doing next week. Is going deep.
And next week, me and Joe will be trying to move this over to Buffy as much as we can.
Trust me, we'll all be trying to do that.
Genuinely, for once, I actually have an idea ahead of time.
This is where we find out Joe's like a massive Twilight fanboy.
I know. This is when we find out he's got the new Twilight book on pre-order already.
Puts glitter on in the morning so he sparkles when he goes outside.
I mean, I don't need to put glitter on. This face just shines naturally.
And on that note, we should end the podcast.
Thank you, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and do all of those wonderful things. Nobody needs to tell you do anymore because we all get it.
I've just done that.
And hey everybody,
Yeah,
don't remember to subscribe.
Don't remember to subscribe. Just do it. Right, I've been Jem, this has been Sean and Joe, and thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Cool. Bye. We need like a catchphrase to end the show.
We do
but we
need-
can come up with that
yeah.
later. Bye.
Bye!
Bye.